back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today I wanted to talk about the case of Laynee Westbrook, a woman who went missing in September of 2020. I've never done a true crime case, but I'm really passionate about cases like this and getting the word out there to try to bring them home. Unfortunately, I haven't seen much coverage of this case, so I'm limited with the information that I could find, but I'll leave my sources down in the description below. I was able to find a great podcast called In Search of Missing in America, where the family of Laynee and her friends were interviewed. It's a great podcast. There was some information there that I wasn't able to find anywhere else, so I recommend giving it a listen if you want more information. If I'm looking away or if I pause, it's just because I'm looking at my notes. Also, I'm sorry if I mispronounce anything, but let's go ahead and get started. So, Laynee Westbrook, a 41-year-old woman, disappeared from Anacortes, Washington on September 10, 2020. Anacortes is described as having a small suburb feel where neighbors tend to know each other well and violent crime rates are low. On the evening of September 10th, Laynee was last seen with her dog, a rat terrier named Precious, on security video at 7:11 p.m. when leaving a San Juan motel in Anacortes, Washington. Laynee had been staying at the motel long-term since around July, so for approximately 2 months, and was seen voluntarily getting into a white Dodge Ram with a man she allegedly knew. The man is described as a Caucasian bald male in his mid-50s. She was last seen on surveillance video approximately 15 minutes later at 7:30 p.m. at a Chevron gas station with the same man. So they are not searching for this man. This man has been identified, and while he is a suspect, we will not be giving out his name, as the police and the family are focused on finding Laynee and bringing her home. This man is innocent until been, proven guilty. So again, they're just focused on bringing Laynee home. So Laynee's mother, Barb, received a call from the motel that Laynee was staying at 3 days later on September 13th because motel staff were unable to reach her daughter for rent. After hearing that they couldn't reach Laynee, Barb and other family members attempted to make contact with Laynee themselves but were unsuccessful. Barb then reported Laynee as missing to the Anacortes Police Department. It's been confirmed since then that Laynee had not arrived for her shifts at Safeway where she worked, which was very unusual for her, since she always arrived or would call in sick if she couldn't make it. In terms of what happened on the day of her disappearance, here's what we know. According to Laynee's sister-in-law, Emily Pepper, Laynee and the man she was last seen with headed to a nearby campground called the Thousand Trails Campground, where the man had been staying. They had dinner and drinks, and it's believed that Laynee was heavily intoxicated, consuming the majority of a half-gallon of liquor. And Laynee only weighed 120 pounds, so she would have been heavily intoxicated or would have even passed out after consuming that much alcohol. It was later discovered that, according to her childhood best friend, Michelle Hansen, campers who were at the campground that night when Michelle was last seen had reported that two individuals were having an argument over a missing dog to the campground's ranger. During the argument, the man involved was threatening the woman, allegedly saying things like, "I'm going to bury you," to which the woman responded with, "Keep your hands off of me." By the time the ranger arrived, the fight had cooled off, and the ranger told the two to keep it down, or else authorities would have had to be involved. So it's assumed that this was Laynee and the man that she had been with. Captain Floyd of the Anacortes Police Department stated that he couldn't comment on some of the details of the case, as it's an open and ongoing investigation, and that totally makes sense. He could confirm, however, that there had been no activity on Laynee's bank account after she last used it to buy groceries and liquor at the gas station at around 7:30 p.m. when she was last seen on surveillance video. There has also been no further activity on her cell phone since approximately 4:30 on the day of her disappearance. So in terms of theories, it was initially believed that Laynee may have willingly vanished due to fear of an ex-boyfriend and rumors spreading. However, after further investigation, her family and friends ruled this out. They believed that she had been using a story of an ex as a potential cover-up due to actively seeing multiple people simultaneously. They also claim that if she were actually in danger and in need of protection, she would go to Colorado, where her father and family were. They also believe that if she were to willingly vanish, she would have reemerged after all this time and media attention. So I'm not really sold on the idea that she vanished or disappeared of her own accord. Another possible theory is that the man Laynee was with that night, or another partner that she was seeing at that time, could have been involved in her disappearance. Laynee's brother, Tom, was interviewed on that podcast I mentioned earlier and comments that she had recently been into bad boys and suggests that it may be why she's ultimately missing now. While police have stated that they don't have enough information to conclude that foul play is involved, Laynee's family and friends insist that she would not just vanish. According to Michelle, who again has been Laynee's best friend since they were children, if she needed a break, she would just say that, but she would never let us worry like this. Laynee's sister, Stephanie Hess, describes her sister as having a bubbly personality and a contagious laugh, explaining that she would never want to see her family in pain. Laynee is described as being 5'9", weighing 120 pounds, having medium brown hair and hazel eyes. She was last seen wearing blue jeans with a black shirt and white sandals. Her dog, Precious, is a rat terrier who has a nub tail and is also missing. There's currently a $10,000 reward for information leading to Laynee's whereabouts. If you have any information, you're asked to call the number in the description below. If you want to follow for case updates, there's a Facebook group that's run by the family of Laynee that I'll also leave in the description down below, and I'll also be leaving a link to the GoFundMe that's raising money for the reward that I mentioned earlier for any information leading to Laynee's whereabouts. I really hope that the family is able to find some peace and answers. Her birthday is in 2 weeks. I really hope that they find some peace. I hope Laynee is found safe and sound, and thank you again for watching. I really hope that Laynee and her family are able to find some answers and peace. I hope that she's able to come home.